Have you ever wondered why ancient cultures never developed a scientific method? Why is it that the ancient Chinese, the Persians, the Greeks even, never came up with a scientific method? How come all cultures throughout time have what we call alchemy? Taking base elements and boiling them in a pot and trying to combine them to make gold. They all have alchemy, but not chemistry. Why is it that all ancient peoples look at the stars and they study them in the discipline of astrology, trying to understand destiny and fate, and yet none of them came up with the idea of astronomy? Well, the common thought these days is the reason these cultures and civilizations did not come up with what we know as the scientific method is because of religion. Religion was a hindrance to the development of scientific knowledge. And in that, they're about half right, but not wholly right. You see, the first article of the Christian Creed is, I believe in God the Father Almighty, maker of heaven and earth. This is a statement of belief about our origins and the nature and character of the world in which we live. We live in a cosmos that has been created by God the Father Almighty. And far from being a hindrance to the scientific method of inquiry, that actually makes all the difference in the world. You see, if you believe, as Eastern religions do, that this world, this cosmos, the world of matter, space, and time and change is really just an evil existence full of suffering, and the goal is we're just trying to get out of here by transcending it through meditative techniques and so forth. If that's your view, then the idea of dedicating your life to this study of the natural world makes no sense. The world is not a worthy object of study. Likewise, with Gnostic religions of the early centuries, which came from Platonic philosophy. The world of matter and time and change is the world of shadows. What we need to do is transcend it to get to the ideal realm. So you see, in Greek philosophy, the natural world really isn't a worthy object of study either. It was really with Christianity, well, Judaism as found in full flower in Christianity, that the idea of the natural world being a worthy object of study came into its own. For if God, a personal, knowable being, a rational being, is the creator of the cosmos, it means that this is an ordered world. There's regularity. There are laws governing things, and we can make predictions based on the past because God is faithful and He is upholding the universe. We can expect the future to be like the past. That means we can experiment. We can put things under a microscope and they're not going to change from day to day. The very regularity needed for the scientific method is actually provided by the Christian doctrine of creation. Now, I know that sounds crazy these days. I just read a comment on an internet post from somebody ridiculing an intelligent design proponent for not understanding that no, Darwinist atheistic science has no faith commitments whatsoever. We believe in the regularity of nature and purely physical principles. We don't need God anymore. That's what the world is telling you. We don't need God anymore. But is that true? One of the greatest proponents of neo-Darwinism today is Richard Dawkins, and in his book, The Blind Watchmaker, he says at the very beginning, we can understand everything according to the laws of chemistry and physics. We don't need magic anymore. We don't need God. We don't need religion. Those are superstitious ways of thinking. It's quite interesting when you get to the second half of the book, Dawkins runs into a serious problem. He's got to explain the origin of life, the origin of self-replicating DNA molecules, and he realizes that it's pretty hard on just the principles of physics to get from inanimate matter to self-replicating DNA. And so he starts reflecting, and I mean, I'm not making this up. You can go look at the book. He starts saying what we really need for our theory is a lot of luck. He says we need a lot of luck. Something really weird has to happen. It's got to be lucky. This is a universe in which really weird things happen. As a matter of fact, it's even possible for a marble statue to wave at somebody It's possible. It's not impossible for that to happen. It's just that, you've lived such a short time frame that you haven't really seen the spectacularly weird things that happen in the world. Now, isn't that interesting? Richard Dawkins, to get his whole system off the ground, needs magic. He says it openly. He needs magic. Suddenly, this is a disordered world. It's a chaotic world, not a predictable world. He doesn't have regularity of nature without a more fundamental confession that there is a God who is faithful and reliable, who is upholding this world. And that is where we rest our faith, in the regularity and uniformity of nature.